Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today we're taking a look at Transformers Siege Line. This is Deluxe Class Chromia. Now, we'll just get into it right away. Out of the Wave 1 and Wave 2 Deluxes, this is my least favorite. Part of it, and I'm trying not to have it color my opinion too much, is when I got to figure out the packaging. The joints, but especially the hips, were incredibly loose. So it is a little disappointing. We're starting off in vehicle mode because that's the easiest way to go into leg mode, and I'm kidding. Let me say this right now because there's been a lot of confusion. I notice a lot of people aren't paying attention to the news and stuff. This is not a combiner. There's no combiner port. This is not a retool of the Moonracer Firestar mold. This is a completely new mold with all new parts. The transformation is, I would say, significantly different from Moonracer and Firestar. It just so happens that the vehicle mode looks similar and the robot mode looks similar. But again, nothing is shared. There's no pre-tool, post-tool, retool. Whatever PR buzzwords Hasbro's pushed out to the fan sites to cover for the fact that they only make one new mold a year. But I just want to get that out of the way. I do like the color blue. This is a very nice shade of sky blue, powder blue. You can see a lot of the greebling and details on the side. One thing that does concern me is the amount of clear plastic used on the figure. This entire canopy section down here on the sides, that's all clear. I do believe part of the chest of the robot is all clear. So you do have to be careful because clear plastic on Transformers over time does break down. Other than that, the figure does feature the traditional for Siege 5mm ports, the blast effect pegs, and what have you, all the different ways you can attach and have stuff done. It's really up to you how you want to do things. Does roll quite nicely. So everything does fold up compact for that. So we'll just pause, and then we'll get into the transformation to robot mode. Okay, start of the transformation, what you want to do is remove the gun here and these parts from the back, which are actually grenades. Just for clarity's sake, I do have them stored a little differently. The instructions show you storing them with the tabs up, but I just peg them together and plug them in. That works fine. We're going to get more into that back section in a second. We'll go over what these do in a moment. The next step, what you want to do is come around the back and just flip the hands down and then straighten them out. You'll detach them from these pegs right here. They peg in okay. I would have preferred a little stronger connection. Next, what you want to do is just go ahead and open these side panels. We're a little disappointed with these panels. They do not peg in anywhere on the body. The only way that they're held into place is by friction and then by tabbing the arms in. I would have preferred something a little different. Next step is you just want to rotate the torso around to line everything up. Now, there is this section here on the waist. Once it's rotated in, it doesn't move, but that does flip around. I don't know why. Also, these little pegs, ports right here, again, combat system, but you can also plug the grenades in if you're not using them. At this point, we can come around and flip the head around. Now, as you can see here on the bottom, I do not have it pushed in as far as it can go. The reason being is the first two times I did that, it was incredibly difficult to pull the head out. First time I had to use a pry bar, and the second time I felt I was going to break this chest section. And also, rotating it up, you can see that it does look like that entire chest area is, again, clear plastic. So you're rotating the head out, gonna a little friction into position here on that chest part, and then rotate the head around. So yeah, definitely I would not push the head down all the way. Next step with the legs is you want to come to this side and you're going to detach unpeg the front sections here, just like so, and then that'll just free up the feet from the canopy section, and we'll just flip that up and out of the way. It does, the feet, when going into vehicle mode, you want to make sure they're lodged all the way up in there. So we brought them out, and we'll just flip the feet forward and then rotate the side panels around. They will stop in place. Let me adjust the camera a little, just so we can get the full figure in shot. But you do see it's basically coming along now. To finish up on the back here, you want to take this front part, fold it up underneath. You're going to push up on the canopy. There is a tab right where my finger is, and that will peg into a slot when going to vehicle mode. Make sure you do that just so it folds down nicely. Bring that up along the back, then close these panels up so that it will peg into the sides there, holding that backpack into place. Bring the arms down, and you have Chromia in its robot mode. So, I mean, it's a small, I would say a small car that goes to a small robot. Yes, there is a lot of excess paneling, like these leg sections and the backpack. I don't think it's as pronounced as it was on the, Prime Masters, the Titan Masters, the Prime Masters, Moon Racer, and Firestar. But again, different molds entirely. I think it's, it is the nature of the beast to try and get a robot that looks like this out of a vehicle mode that look like that. So we'll pause real quick. I'm going to switch some things around, and we're going to take a look at the weapons included. Much like Hound, Chromia comes with what I consider a very generous assortment of weapons and attachments. First, you have this blaster that has a detachable scope section that can then attach to the front barrel and become a silencer. There are then these two grenade parts that can tab together or be held in the robot's hand, but it's a little silly because you have to hold them from the parts right there. But they too have the blast effect attachments. And there's a lot that you can do with this. You can go ahead and attach them up front like so, and make a rather long and odd looking blaster. You can actually rotate everything around and have it attach like this, which I think is what the instructions show. You can keep the scope up top, and then like that for a shorter blaster, or you can do this and have the grenades sort of underneath, so you have a snub nose blaster with a little grenade launcher attachment. Actually, what I tend to prefer to do is just like that, with the the grenade underneath and then that barrel there, or rotate it around and do it like that. But you do have your options. This is my preferred positioning for it. And of course, you can use any weapon, six gun, whatever. So we'll pause here, and we'll come back with my final thoughts. One thing I should mention is, besides the very loose hips, Chromia's hands are, I would say, a millimeter or half a millimeter too big. The weapons, when you peg them in, they do want to flop around a little too easily. Um, and the wrist joints are a little loose on that regard. But Chromia is an okay figure. I think I'll just say that. It's not my favorite from the line. Um, I think there really wasn't a need for this figure, especially since it's not a combiner. Um, I mean, we had a Chromia back in the Thrilling 30 line, and I didn't hear people demanding another Chromia, so I just don't see the need for it. Hopefully, if you buy this, you'll get one with tighter joints than mine. But this isn't a figure I'm going to display much or really do anything with. I got this figure off of eBay and a set of the Wave 2 Deluxes, but from what I understand, they are showing up at most brick and mortar retail outlets, including, I think Amazon.com has finally gotten the Wave 2 Deluxes in. So you can definitely pick them up there. This is your old pal Chuck. For Chromia, we will see you next time.